Hello and welcome to Dario's Comic School, and today we'll take a look at Conan the Barbarian. Well, I found here also a warlock, but we'll take a look at this another time. Conan the Barbarian, it's all in comic wrappers. I don't know how do you say it's sleeves. Mostly due to the smell of old paper, so that where I store it, it doesn't start to smell everywhere like old paper. We will take a look at old Warlock, and I have to say, sometimes when you look at the older stuff, you will find that, let's get this out. Come on. Oop. Give me a second. Okay, I'm getting it out. And here it is. When you see, like, this is Conan the Barbarian. And I want to take a look not only at Conan the Barbarian, but also at two artists. And those two artists are, well, I wanted to review it mostly because of, what's his name? Cell or John Buscema? I guess John Buscema. Here it is. John Buscema, and he does a badass Conan. And also his drawings, like, look at at the women he draws and at the Conans, and we'll take a look in a second. This is a bit of strange review. It's a bit of the review of Conan the Barbarian, but also old artists. Why am I throwing this in? Well, because you can learn a lot from the people that went on before you. And as you can see, this is like a 70s, 80s Marvel, DC coloring. Really great drawings. Like, underneath this lies anatomy, people who understand where everything has to go. To draw like a boss, you need to understand how are these muscles connected. So your first task is to learn the anatomy, and then your second task is to play with it and to steal and copy from your idols. As you can see, I kind of stole this pose and edited, but I wouldn't say it's just stolen, it's a quote. And also, when I was doing this, I was learning the craft. So as you can see, my biceps is way too long. And also I exaggerated a bit. I also inked it differently. Like, this is, I don't know what this style is, like Barry Windsor Smith inks like this, but my inking style was a bit more like Klaus Janssen, a bit rougher. And then I used some, I wouldn't say that Mike Mignola inks like this, but yeah, it's kind of a mixture of like Frank Miller and also the stuff. And then, as you can see, like, I got a leg, but my leg is all torn up, and his fist is open, his hand is open, and my fist is closed. And also, I changed up a lot of stuff. So it's not longer stealing; it's a bit quoting. And I also excuse this because I was young and I was studying the game. So when you're new to the game, it's good to look at different things. And we'll come to this book in a second, where we'll see about the inking. So, Conan the Barbarian, I kind of wanted to review John Buscema because I think he's very important. And I don't know if Mark Silvestri took a good look at him, but I guess always, like, your favorite artist. Like, I look at Frank Miller and I love Frank Miller, and then you recognize that Frank Miller was looking at Alex Toth and Alex Nino, and he was looking at Hugo Pratt, and so your favorite artist, like let's say you have a favorite artist, sometimes he's also an amalgamation of the artists that came before him. So I wouldn't call this stealing, I would always call this an evolution. And yeah, I don't know, what do I have to say else? Like let's see, this is a random Conan I got from a Comic Con. Usually on the Comic Cons there is like, how do you say, a kilogram of comics for €1, and that's where I got all my good comics. Look at this, look how detailed this is. Like, look at the pages, how much is happening and how cool it is. It has the following key points. Sure, they talk a lot, but then everything is clear. Like, it is clear, every action. Like, even if you can't read like English, I don't know, maybe from looking at the picture you start getting an idea of what is happening, and this clarity, and also not only the clarity but also like the depth of the drawings. Like, you have always background, midground, foreground, background, midground. Well, I don't know really where's the foreground, his back, but background, foreground. And look how the eye is always like from the background to the foreground, from the background to the foreground. The leg leads us down here. The woman, which is drawn beautifully, leads us here. His fist or his arm leads us to the next panel. Like, this is the art we need to study, preserve, and also implement into our new artwork. That's why we need to learn like this. Sure, it was an industry, but also in an industry for survival, you kind of need the fittest, the best. And if you couldn't produce this, like, I don't want to say that everything that is mass produced has the biggest quality or highest quality, but there is definitely something going on. Like, there's a pressure or evolutionary pressure put on you that kind of forces you, look, background coming forth, leading here, background, leading here, our eye again coming down here, everything very clear. John Buscema understands his anatomy, which I lack. I should, and I haven't made these videos because I'm having too much stuff so going on in my life. So simplicity is also key. Like, look, no background here, just a minor background here. But here it is a background, but what is important? What do you want to have on your page? Look, background, midground, foreground, leading the eye down here. And yeah, I mean, let's take another look at another John Buscema, or is this Gil Kane? We'll see. I guess this is Gil Kane or Gil Kane. Yeah, here, Gil Kane. Well, it's a double episode. It's Gil Kane, John Buscema, and Conan. And look at the simplicity, but also the beauty of it. Like, as you can see, everything is very clear, beautiful laid out pencils, beautiful inks, and then you don't need much. You need just a red. Let's see if I can get it sharp. Just a red, a blue for his hair, a green for his, I don't know, how do you call it? And then it's pretty simple. Doesn't have to be that simple, but there is beauty in simplicity, and this is also very healthy. Like, look at this. Like, look at the page layouts, how much story gets told. Like, Conan sees something, then he goes down this snowy mountain. I love how I don't know who inks him, if he inks himself, and then he falls, and then he gets up again, and look again, background, midground, foreground. He looks inside, he sees through the glasses, and he knocks at the door, then he opens the door, and then he goes in. And look at the hand. Like, there is, like, I think this was just sketched out with pencils. He just knew here where the fingers have to be, how the woman has to look like, and then putting over your drawings is easy. And then Conan collapses, which leaves us on a great cliffhanger from the get-go, from the beginning. Then they talk, and yeah, beautifully. And sure, you can now agree, some do like it, some do not like it, but you can't deny that this is a very beautifully drawn woman, and this is a powerful wizard and beautiful made sword. And sure, times changed and things got better, but yeah, sometimes it's very important to learn from the old. Okay, I will wrap this up soon. It's kind of a bit of a strange episode, but yeah, I just wanted to mention, sometimes I make this shorter videos just to show, well, shorter, I guess it won't stay so short, but look, the storytelling, very clear, the page layouts, no background, just a color for the emotion. He running down, then we come here, then we see this, then we go up here. Like, this is very cinematic, and it should feel like cinema. It should feel like cinema, like the movies. Study your anatomy and then start drawing. It's I guess a teeter-totter of both, and doesn't have to be so complicated what you do. You see very simple coloring, very economic, but it tells the story and it works. And before we wrap this up, I have also this book on inking by Gary Martin and Steve Root. And at the end, there is like big pages where you can ink over some original stuff. But here we get some, this I guess are John Buscema pencils. And look at this, like this is how he drew it. And then we get some inks by Gary Martin, Bill Reynolds, Danny Mickey, and John Beatty. And this is the, oh, I'm fighting with a book. And this is the first by Gary Martin, like he inks it like this. Like, take a look. Everything is like very smooth, very clear. Conan looks amazing. The hair is beautifully, the tables are beautiful. Okay. And now we'll take a look at, this is the same by Bill Reynolds. Look, the woman looks completely different. Look. And this is like, Conan looks completely different. Like this is more smoother and this is a bit rougher. And I like the rougher stuff. I think it has a bit more life, but it comes down to how do you ink? What's your style? What's your favorite tools of the trade? How do you interpret it? Like, look at this guy. Looks completely different. Like, this is the pencils. And this is the guy in the background. And this is the guy in the background here, inked by Bill Reynolds. And I love it. Let's take another look at Danny Mickey. This is how Danny Mickey then does it. He has more scratchy, like, look, nothing up there, no. It's definitely different. And look at this very, very fine lines. I like more this one. But yeah, if this floats your boat, if this is how you want to get inked, like look at the wood, like holy shit. Like Danny Mickey is a bit more realistic, and I guess like sometimes when he inked Greg Capullo or David Finch, like you can really see his style shine through. It's not mine. It's, I guess, too noisy for myself. I like more the cartoony approach, but not as cartoony as this. This is by John Beatty. This is too cartoony for me, too. I love Bruce Timm and all of that, but this is too not my spot. So you can see different inkings. This is more mine. And here is again a scene. Pencils by Gil Kane, Conan. And this is how he pencils it. Look, like really beautiful. The morning star, the bubbles, the swords, all of this stuff. And then we will see here the first inks by Gary Martin. Very old school style. Very clean. Beautifully, but not really my cup of tea. Then we get here Bill Reynolds. A bit rougher. This is more up my alley, but this is personal taste. Again, a teacher never will tell you what you should like. A teacher always looks what does the student need. And here again, Danny Mickey, completely different. Also very beautiful. Wait a second. But Danny Mickey has a bit more eye for the detail. He really loves to push it to a very realistic rendering. And I guess this will be the last picture because my voice is giving up. And here this is by John Beatty. Again, a bit more cartoony. Does the job, but not my cup of tea. Like, don't want to be arrogant, but I could do this better. So, if you feel like you could ink better, then follow your calling and start penciling or start inking. And yeah, I can recommend this book, Inking by Gary Martin. It's a Dark Horse book. You don't need it, but it's a fun book. Get your Conans, get them cheap. Go to your local store and get back issues. Sleeve them up so they won't stink up your your room or your storage. And yeah, Gil Kane, Steve Buscema, awesome. Study them.